The village house stands as a skeleton of wood and shattered glass, offering no reason for a rational person to step inside. Yet, under the moonlight, the decay looks less like a ruin and more like an invitation. The locals stay clear for a reason. They tell stories of the families who lived here and the things that allegedly stayed behind, always ending with the same specific instruction: never stay past midnight. Arjun and I were well aware of the warnings, but there is a specific type of human vulnerability that makes us treat a tragedy like a puzzle. We convince ourselves that knowing the history makes us immune to it. The house doesn't need to hunt. It only needs to wait. It relies on that singular moment when curiosity outweighs caution, and you decide to cross the threshold on your own. They warned us not to stay after midnight, but the door was already open. Inside, the air is thick with the smell of wet timber and old dust. Our flashlights settled on the staircase, a jagged spine of wood leading up into a darkness the beams couldn't quite pierce. We had the structural reports from the village records. We knew for a fact that the upper floor had completely collapsed years ago, leaving nothing but open air above the ground level. The upper floor collapsed years ago. At 1:13 a.m., the physics of the house stopped making sense. From the empty space above our heads came the unmistakable sound of something heavy dragging itself across floorboards that weren't there. This diagram shows the internal ruins. The footstep sound was localized in midair, pacing where the master bedroom once stood. Then an audio flatline represents the environment shifting. The wind died, and the house fell into a heavy, physical silence. Without the ambient noise of the outside world, we were left in a vacuum. The house cut us off from every familiar sensation, leaving us waiting for whatever came next. We looked toward the debris for anything familiar. Arjun's light caught the edge of a frame, a heavy, black and white family photograph, gray with decades of old dust and dampness. "Cousin, did you hear that?" The silence didn't last. A voice, soft, distorted, and sounding exactly like it was coming from deep inside our own heads, called out his name. We looked back at the photograph in his hand. Tucked deep into the shadows behind the family, nearly invisible until the light hit it directly, was the same woman. The realization is a cold sickness in the stomach. You aren't just looking at a relic of the past. You are looking at the person who is currently standing in the room with you. These objects aren't just trash. They are anchors, keeping the dark history of this place entirely active and waiting for a fresh pair of eyes to find them. The period of watching ended. The kitchen door at the end of the hall slammed with enough force to shake remaining glass from the windows. Then the dragging stopped. The footsteps became a sprint, fast, aggressive, and coming directly toward us from the dark. When something that shouldn't exist starts running at you, logic disappears. Your lungs tighten, your heart hammers against your ribs, and your only thought is the distance between you and the exit. We ran blindly, our lights swinging wildly against the rotting walls. The hallways seemed to stretch, the floorboards turning into a blur as we scrambled to find the way we came in. We hit the front door at a full sprint, bursting through the frame and out into the open air. We didn't look back to see if it was still behind us. We just ran until we reached the road, convinced that leaving the house meant leaving the nightmare. The rain was a freezing downpour, but it felt like a relief. We stood by the car, drenched and shaking, looking back at the silhouette of the house one last time. The lights of the car caught the second-floor window. There, standing where the floor had long ago rotted away, was Arjun, or something that looked like him. And it was smiling. The chase wasn't meant to catch us. It was meant to make us run so fast we wouldn't notice what was walking out the door right beside us. That's when I realized something else had